Good morning, dear students. Hearty welcome to the online classes of English Grammar of Standard 8. Today we are going to see the fourth chapter that is called the articles. As you know, there are three articles in English. They are a and the. And what are the uses of these articles? Articles make clear whether we are referring to something in general or in particular, and they are always used before the nouns, so they are called the determiners. About these determiners, we'll be learning in detail in coming chapters. And in this chapter, we are going to see what is the duty of the articles, where are they used, and where we should not use the articles. And before that, another one more thing that you need to remember in your mind, that when an adjective comes before the noun, where to use the article. The article should be used before the adjective. For example, buy me a big blue bag. As you know, bag is the noun and big and blue are the adjectives. And before that, a has come. So, before the adjectives, the articles is to be used. And as you know, there are two kinds of articles. One is the indefinite articles, and second one is the definite article. First we are going to see about the indefinite articles. They are a and an. Let us see further. Now a and an are known as the indefinite articles, as you know. Now, what is the use of a or an in a before a noun? Only one use it has got. If we refer something in non-specific or to talk about the things in general, we use the articles a or an. Now let us see an example and evaluate. There is a tree in the garden. A tree in the garden. This a tree can be to any of the trees. It is not to the a specific tree, but any of the trees. Or the teacher has asked us to submit an essay on holidays. An essay. There is no specific mention that you need to write the essay on Mahatma Gandhi, but an essay on holidays. So, since there is no specific mention, we use the article a or an. Now, where to use, or what is the difference between the usages of a and an? Now, a or an we use before the single countable nouns spoken in a general sense. For example, a tooth, a table, or a scene, an onion, an egg, an email. Now, where to use, as I have told you, where to use a or an, how we can determine to use whether to use a or an. Now, the usages of a or an purely depends on the first sound of the noun. I'm telling you again, the use of a or an purely depends upon the first sound of the word that comes after the article, that is the noun or the adjective. For example, a truck or a syllable, a large egg, a user, a union of factory workers. Now you may wonder why with user we have used a, or with union we have used a. That's what we are going to say in the next thing. Now, even though we write user, user, but the sound start with a consonant, that is y, user. And before a consonant, as you know, we need to use a, and before a vowel we need to use an. Now look at another words: an apricot, an Englishman, an honest man, an MA in Marathi. There, an honest man, as you know, O comes, or MA. There, the sound E comes. Though we write MA, the sound E comes. That's why we use an MA. Even though we use the abbreviations or the other things, we need to follow this rule. That means we need to use, you need to look at the first sound, first sound of every word, whether it can be a noun or an adjective. The same thing it has been written again: a red ant, an unhappy situation, a European. There also you need to understand that European start with U, Y-O-U. So the sound starts like that. So we use a European. And now where to use these indefinite articles? That's what we are going to say in the next one. As we have seen, we use these indefinite articles in a singular countable noun in a general sense. And one more thing you need to remember here: we cannot use a singular countable noun without an article. Most of the times, even I make the mistake that whenever we use a singular countable noun, we need to use the article. For example, do you have a phone? Do you have a phone? But many of the times we ask, do you have phone? But the original usage is, do you have a phone? But there are a few conditions where this rule will not be applicable. First one is, if there is, it is uncountable nouns. For example, water or news, all these are uncountable nouns. So before the uncountable noun, we cannot use any articles. And the second one is before the names of meals. For example, dinner will be served early. But if it is a special dinner, we can use a or an. For example, this is a dinner in his honor, or else no need of using any of the articles. Now, before the names of seasons, uh, no need of using the articles, even though they may be the singular countable noun, no need of using. In spring, we will not say in a spring, or an autumn we will not be saying. So the next usage, we talk of a singular countable noun used as an example of a class of thing. A book is a faithful friend. A spanner is used to tighten the nuts and bolts. Here, what is happening? A book, though the book is being used here as a singular countable noun, but in order to tell about a class of things, in order to tell about all the books, we use a book. Now, when we use the expressions of quantity, price, speed, ratio, or units of measurement, we need to use the articles. 100, a dozen, 50 a liter, or 2 kilometers a minute, an inch, a 5, one chance. Now, where we need to use is with the term half, but the whole to be followed. That means 4.5 or 2.5. That means first the whole will be coming, then the article, then half. 4.5, 2.5. Now about the frequency also we need to use. For example, once a week, 4 times a year. Now with the noun complement, even when we want to indicate membership of a group, talk of a profession or a job. I am an architect. Raghu is a Buddhist. Shafali is a manager. Their profession or a group or a job is being used as noun complement. Now, before a singular countable noun, when we use the exclamatory expressions, we need to use what a shot or what a painting we need to use. Now, with a few or little, we need to use in some fixed expressions we need to use in a few years or in a little honey or sometimes with some surnames. For example, a Mr. Gupta called, a Mrs. Menon is waiting to see you. So there you need to use the articles a or an. With this, I am stopping the first part of today's class. You will be receiving one more video about the definite article the. So let us meet there for that video.